Stop scrolling for a second, because if the person on your heart is younger than you, and yet your spirit keeps feeling calm about them, this message is not here to entertain you. It's here to explain what heaven is doing. Not everybody will understand this kind of connection, and that's exactly why you need clarity before you let fear or opinions push you into the wrong decision. So take a breath and let these next moments be still. If your mind has been racing with what if, let it quiet down. If your heart has been asking for a sign, let it listen closely. And if you want more messages like this messages that strengthen your faith about love, marriage, and your future, subscribe now so you don't miss the next confirmation meant for your season. Angels say, heaven chose a younger partner for you for a reason. Not because heaven ran out of options. Not because God is careless with your future. Not because your story is random. For a reason. And the first thing you must understand is this. People judge age, but heaven judges fruit. People measure years, but heaven measures character. People focus on appearance, but heaven focuses on assignment. That's why you might feel confused at first, because your mind has been trained by culture, timelines, and expectations. Your mind thinks love should arrive in a certain acceptable shape. But heaven is not building your life around what looks acceptable to strangers. Heaven is building your life around what will be stable, peaceful, and purposeful for you. Now, let's set the foundation before we go deeper. This message is not permission to ignore wisdom. This message is not telling you to chase anyone younger, just because it sounds spiritual. No, divine alignment never asks you to abandon discernment. If the connection brings secrecy, disrespect, manipulation, or constant anxiety, do not call it heaven. God does not hide truth inside confusion. God does not bless what damages your dignity. The relationship heaven chooses will stand in the light. It will produce peace, not panic. It will grow clearer with time, not fogier. It will honor boundaries, not attack them. So if you're listening and wondering, is this really from God? Angels say, don't obsess over the number. Observe the fruit. Watch consistency. Watch humility. Watch responsibility. Watch respect. Because you already know, some people are older and still unstable, still avoid commitment, still allergic to accountability, and some people are younger and yet disciplined, grounded, emotionally mature, and ready to build a real life. Heaven does not confuse youth with immaturity, and heaven does not confuse age with readiness. So why would heaven choose a younger partner for you? Angels say the first reason is deeply personal, and it's going to make sense when you're honest about what you've been through. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because God is restoring what life made heavy in you. Some of you didn't become strong because you wanted to. You became strong because you had to. You carried responsibilities early. You learned to keep moving even when you were tired. You learned to be practical when you wanted to be soft. You learned to protect your heart because disappointment trained you to expect less. And after enough seasons of carrying too much, you started living with a hidden tension inside, like you're always bracing for something to go wrong. Angels say, God sees that tension. And God is not only preparing a spouse, God is healing the way your heart experiences love. Because the truth is, when you've lived through inconsistency, your nervous system starts treating peace like a trick. When someone is calm with you, you get suspicious. When someone is steady, you start scanning for the moment they will change. When love is simple, you feel like something must be missing because you're used to love being complicated. So heaven sometimes sends a partner with a different kind of energy, one that softens you instead of stressing you. Not childish energy of energy, not reckless energy, hopeful energy, not chaotic energy lightness that helps you breathe again. And yes, sometimes that comes through someone younger, because they meet you without the tired filters you've been forced to wear. They meet you without the old labels you've been carrying. They meet you without trying to make you pay for what someone else did. They don't approach you like a battlefield. They approach you like a future. Angels say, this is why you must pay attention to how you feel around them after the excitement settles. Not when it's new. Not when it's flirty, but when it's normal. Do you feel respected? Do you feel emotionally safe? Do you feel like you can exhale? Do you feel like your dignity increases around them? Because divine love doesn't make you feel smaller. Divine love makes you feel covered. Heaven chose a younger partner for you. Because God is restoring your joy, your real joy. Not the forced smile joy. Not the I'm okay joy. The kind of joy that returns when your heart finally believes it doesn't have to struggle for love anymore. The kind of joy that returns when you realize you can be chosen without begging. The kind of joy that returns when you realize you can be valued without performing. And here's a truth angels want you to hold. The right person will not make you feel old. The right person will make you feel honored. The right person will not treat your years as a disadvantage. They will treat your wisdom as safety. They will admire your depth. They will respect your standards. They will not try to humble you by withholding affection. They will not punish you with silence. They will not create jealousy to keep you attached. They will be clear. They will be consistent. Because heaven isn't sending you a relationship that reopens the same wounds. Heaven is sending you a relationship that helps those wounds finally close. Now, the second reason heaven may choose a younger partner for you is about direction where your life is going next. And this is where many people misunderstand God, because they think marriage is only about romance. But heaven sees marriage as partnership for purpose. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because your next season requires a builder, not a spectator. Some of you are entering a season where your life will expand your responsibilities, your vision, your stability, your calling, your business, your influence, your peace. And angels say God does not expound you just to attach you to someone who resents your growth. God does not open doors for you just to partner you with someone who competes with your destiny. God does not heal you just to connect you to someone who brings back confusion. So heaven may choose someone younger because they are positioned to build forward with you without ego battles, without stubborn pride, without trying to control the relationship through insecurity. A younger partner who is truly heaven-sent will not be threatened by your maturity. They will be inspired by it. They won't try to shrink you to feel bigger. They will rise with you. And that's why the fruit matters again. Because a heaven-sent partner will show you they are a builder. They don't just talk about the future, they prepare for it. They don't just promise effort, they demonstrate it. They don't just say they want commitment, they live like commitment is their goal. Angels say, watch for direction. Do they communicate like someone who is serious? Do they respect time, boundaries, and pace? Do they handle correction with humility or with anger? Do they repair conflict or do they avoid it? Do they take responsibility or do they make excuses? Because covenant requires responsibility. Covenant requires discipline. Covenant requires truth. And if you're wondering, but what about the age difference long term? Angels say, long-term strength is not built on age. It is built on values. It is built on integrity. It is built on humility. It is built on consistency. That's why some older relationships still collapse, because the foundation was never character. It was comfort. It was image. It was convenience. Heaven is not giving you convenience. Heaven is giving you covenant. You stay wise enough to recognize it. Now, let's talk about the silent pressure many of you feel. The pressure of people's opinions. Because some of you haven't even allowed the relationship to grow, and you're already exhausted from imaginary arguments with family, friends, and strangers. Angels say, stop putting the crowd in the driver's seat of your destiny. The crowd won't live in your home. The crowd won't carry your emotional weight. The crowd won't pray your prayers. The crowd won't fight for your marriage when life gets real. So you cannot let the crowd decide what you're allowed to receive. Instead, let fruit decide. Let peace decide. Let time decide. Let God decide. And yes, move with wisdom. Protect what's growing. Not because you're ashamed, but because it's sacred. Privacy is not hiding. Privacy is guarding. Some things grow best away from noise. Now listen carefully, because this next line will keep you safe. If this younger partner is truly chosen for you, they will not pressure you into confusion. They will not rush your spirit. They will not demand access without responsibility. They will not punish your boundaries. They will not keep you as a secret. They will not make you fight for basic respect. They will show steady intention. They will show consistent honor. They will show real effort. And your peace will increase, not decrease. So if you've been overthinking, angels say, return to a simple prayer. God, if this is from you, let peace remain and fruit increase. Let clarity grow. Let respect stay steady. Let intention be honorable. If it's not from you, remove it gently but clearly. Then watch what happens. Because what is ordained doesn't collapse under wisdom. What is ordained doesn't run from truth. What is ordained doesn't fear accountability. And there is a deeper reason heaven chooses a younger partner. For some of you, one that touches. The way you trust, the way you surrender control, and the way God frees you from fear-based decisions so you can finally receive love with a steady heart. And that deeper reason is this. Heaven is not only choosing who fits you emotionally, heaven is choosing who will help you become freer spiritually. Because some of you have been guarded for so long that you can't tell the difference between protection and fear anymore. You call it being careful, but underneath, it's a memory of what it felt like to be disappointed, misled, or left carrying everything alone. Angels say God is healing that layer now, and sometimes the way He heals it is by leading you into a love that forces you to trust again slowly, wisely, and with your eyes open. Here's what many people don't realize. When heaven chooses a younger partner for you, it often challenges the part of you that depends on predictability to feel safe. Because your mind wants a relationship that makes sense to everybody. Your mind wants to avoid questions. Your mind wants to avoid judgment. Your mind wants a love story that doesn't require explanation. But heaven says, your peace matters more than people's understanding. And if the relationship is truly assigned, the fruit will silence the noise in time. So reason 3, heaven chose a younger partner for you because God is teaching you to build from peace instead of control. Control is sneaky. It doesn't always look like dominance. Sometimes control looks like overthinking. Sometimes it looks like testing people silently. Sometimes it looks like assuming the worst before someone has even shown you who they are. Sometimes it looks like rejecting a blessing quickly so you can avoid the risk of being hurt later. An angel say, that reflex used to protect you, but now it can delay you. God is not asking you to become naive. He's asking you to become healed enough to stop punishing new love for old pain. Boundaries are healthy. Discernment is necessary. Wisdom is required. But fear-based control will sabotage what God is trying to grow. So what does it look like to build from peace? It looks like moving step by step instead of trying to predict 10 years in one night. It looks like watching patterns instead of reacting to emotions. It looks like asking clear questions without panic. It looks like letting time reveal character. Because time is a filter. Time exposes what is real. A person who is only entertained by you will become impatient with boundaries. They will pressure you. They will guilt you. They will try to rush intimacy without responsibility. They will act offended when you ask mature questions. They will disappear when it's time to be consistent. But a person who is assigned to you will respect your pace. They will welcome clarity. They will not fear your wisdom. They will not punish your standards. They will not make you feel like you have to beg for basic respect. Angels say, pay attention to how a person handles not yet, because not yet reveals character. If they can honor not yet, they can honor covenant. If they can respect your boundaries, they can protect your peace. If they can move slowly with you, they are not here for convenience. They are here for commitment. Now, reason 4. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because God is breaking an old pattern and creating a new blueprint for love. Some of you come from backgrounds where love was heavy, where relationships were full of power struggles, where commitment was unstable, where people stayed together but didn't respect each other, where silence was used as punishment, where cheating was normalized, where emotional inconsistency was common. And even if you personally didn't live that, you watched it. You absorbed it. You learned what love looked like through examples that never felt safe. So your heart became cautious, and your standards became protective. And angels say, that's not wrong. What's wrong is when fear convinces you that peace is impossible. God is doing something new in your bloodline. And sometimes the person he sends doesn't carry the same old toxic blueprint. Sometimes the person he sends is more open to growth, more open to learning healthy communication, more open to accountability, more open to building stability. Not because they're younger, but because they're willing. Willingness is everything in covenant. A willing heart can learn. A willing heart can mature. A willing heart can repair. A willing heart can become a safe partner. But pride destroys homes. Pride refuses correction. Pride avoids apology. Pride blames. Pride competes. Pride turns small problems into battles because it values ego more than peace. And angels say, God is protecting you from pride-based relationships. Some of you dated people who were older but emotionally stuck, older but stubborn, older but unteachable. They used age as a weapon to dismiss your needs. I'm grown, they said, while acting like a child when conflict arrived, and you were left carrying the relationship alone. Heaven is not repeating that season. Now, reason 5. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because the balance of strengths in this union will create stability, not imbalance. This is important, so listen carefully. A healthy age gap relationship is not built on superiority or dependency. It's built on partnership, and partnership happens when both people bring something real to the table: humility, discipline, and shared values. You bring wisdom, you bring experience, you bring discernment, you bring emotional depth that life taught you. You've learned what matters, and you've learned what doesn't. You know how expensive peace is. You don't want games. And your younger partner, if assigned, may bring resilience, momentum, adaptability, and a sincere hunger to build something meaningful. They may be more open to creating new routines, new habits, new standards, and a new kind of home. They may not be attached to old mindsets that destroy intimacy. They may be more willing to learn how to love well, communicate well, and build well. But angels say, the balance only works when both choose humility. If the older partner becomes controlling, the relationship suffocates. If the younger partner becomes unserious, the relationship collapses. So the test is not age. The test is character. Are both people willing to grow? Are both people willing to communicate? Are both people willing to be accountable? Are both people willing to protect peace? Because covenant is not romance alone, it's responsibility. Now, let's talk about the biggest trap that kills many almost relationships: confusing intensity with destiny. Angels say intensity can be addictive, but it is not always spiritual. Some people show up loud, affectionate, dramatic, and urgent. They make you feel chosen fast, but the foundation is weak. And when the excitement fades, so do they. Heaven does not need urgency to prove alignment. Heaven uses clarity. So if this younger partner is meant for you, you will notice something different. The love is steady. The communication is consistent. The effort doesn't vanish when the mood changes. The respect remains when you set boundaries. The intention becomes clearer with time, not more confusing. And that's one of the strongest signs this is heaven. What is ordained gets clearer as it grows, not more secretive, not more confusing, not more unstable, clearer now. Angels say you must also be wise about practical confirmation, because spiritual messages must match real-life fruit. If you want to know whether heaven chose this younger partner, watch for these confirmations. They honor your boundaries without negotiation. They communicate without disappearing. They respect your pace without pressuring your body, your time, or your emotions. They show consistency after the excitement settles. They handle correction with humility, not anger. They talk about the future with seriousness, not vague romance. They protect your reputation and don't treat you like a secret. They demonstrate responsibility in daily life, work ethic, honesty, follow through. Angels say, marriage doesn't start at the altar. Marriage starts in patterns. So if the pattern is inconsistency, don't call it destiny. If the pattern is secrecy, don't call it divine. If the pattern is disrespect, don't call it ordained. But if the pattern is honor, peace, and steady effort. Don't reject it because it surprises people. Now, for many of you, the hardest part is not the relationship, it's the voices around it. Family, friends, social pressure, comments, opinions, and angels say, you must learn to protect your future from unnecessary noise, because not everyone deserves access to what God is building. Some people love you but still speak from fear. Some people advise you but have never built a peaceful relationship themselves. Some people project their wounds onto your choices. Some people dislike anything they cannot control. So heaven says, let fruit be your explanation. You don't have to argue. You don't have to convince. You don't have to overshare. A peaceful home will speak louder than debate. Now, reason 6. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because God is aligning divine timing in a way you couldn't plan. Some of you felt late. You felt behind. You felt like your timeline didn't match your prayers. And that can create pressure to choose quickly, to settle, to accept what's available instead of what's aligned. But heaven says your delay wasn't denial. For many of you, it was protection. Protection from marrying too early, when you weren't healed. Protection from building with someone who couldn't carry covenant. Protection from attaching to a person who would have turned your life into stress. Now that you're in a more mature, seasoned, clearer standards, stronger boundaries, deeper discernment, He aligns you with a partner who matches your now, not your then. And sometimes that person is younger because their season of readiness aligns with your season of peace. This is why Jeremiah 29:11 comforts so many of you. God's plans are for a future and a hope, not confusion, not constant heartbreak, not repeated cycles, a future, a hope. Now, angels say something that will calm your heart if you're afraid. Of long-term stability. Stability is not about age. It's about values. The real question is not, are they younger? The real question is, do they value covenant? Do they value truth? Do they value accountability? Do they value peace? Do they have discipline? Do they have integrity? Because a person with covenant character doesn't become unstable because of a birthday. They remain steady because steadiness is who they are. And that's why heaven is telling you to watch fruit. Now, let's make this personal, because some of you need a direct word for your heart. Angels say, stop rejecting love that feels safe. Some of you have been trained by pain to believe love must hurt to be real. You equated anxiety with passion. You equated inconsistency with excitement. You equated emotional chaos with deep connection. But heaven says, that was not love. That was survival. Love is supposed to be a covering, not a storm. Love is supposed to bring peace, not panic. Love is supposed to strengthen dignity, not weaken it. So if the younger partner in your life brings peace and honor, don't sabotage it by looking for a disaster. Instead, protect it with wisdom. Wisdom says, move slowly. Wisdom says, ask questions. Wisdom says, set boundaries. Wisdom says, observe patterns. Wisdom says, pray for confirmation. And angels say, God will confirm through what remains consistent over time. Here is a simple prayer you can keep repeating in your spirit without pressure. God, if this is truly chosen for me, Let peace remain and fruit increase. Let clarity grow. Let respect stay steady. Let my discernment be calm. If it's not for me, remove it gently but clearly, and protect my heart from attachment that delays my destiny. Then watch the response of the relationship. Counterfeit connections. Hate boundaries. Counterfeit connections fear clarity. Counterfeit connections run from accountability. But ordained connections honor wisdom, welcome clarity, and grow steadier with time. And there is still one more reason heaven chose a younger partner for you, one that ties everything together. How this union strengthens faith, deepens humility, and creates a testimony that becomes undeniable. That final reason is what will help you stop overthinking and start moving with peace. And that final reason is what ties everything together. Heaven chose a younger partner for you because this union is meant to strengthen your faith and produce a testimony that can't be argued with. Some blessings arrive in a form that forces you to depend on God more than approval. When something looks unusual to people, you learn quickly that you cannot build your life on applause. You have to build your life on peace. And peace is one of the clearest signs of divine alignment. Angels say this is why your connection may feel quietly powerful. It doesn't need drama to feel real. It doesn't need chaos to feel passionate. It doesn't need public validation to feel secure. It grows from truth, not performance. It grows from consistency, not hype. It grows from shared intention, not pressure. Because when heaven is leading, the relationship becomes a place where both of you mature in the right way. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. You learn patience, you learn humility, you learn communication. You learn how to repair conflict without destroying love. You learn how to protect peace without becoming controlling. You learn how to stand together against outside noise without becoming defensive or secretive. You learn how to choose covenant daily, not just talk about it. And here is what the angels want you to understand about testimony. Testimony isn't only a big moment. Testimony is what your life becomes over time. It's what people notice. After months, after years, it's the stability of your home, the calmness in your eyes, the way you stop over-explaining yourself because you finally feel safe. It's the way your relationship produces fruit that even critics can't deny. That's why heaven may choose someone younger, so your relationship is built on fruit, not on what people assume, because assumptions collapse. Fruit remains. Now, angels say there's another protective layer here. This connection is meant to teach you how to let love be simple again. Some of you became so wise from pain that you accidentally made love complicated as a defense mechanism. You analyzed everything. You questioned everything. You expected hidden motives everywhere. You convinced yourself that if you think enough, you can prevent heartbreak. But heartbreak isn't prevented by overthinking. Heartbreak is prevented by discernment, boundaries, and time. So heaven is teaching you something gentle. You don't need to torture your mind to be safe. You need to stay grounded and watch patterns. That's why this message keeps returning to the same instruction. Observe fruit. Not fantasy. Not fear. Fruit. And fruit in a heavens and union will show up in practical ways. It will show up in how they protect your reputation. It will show up in how they talk about you when you're not present. It will show up in how they handle temptation. It will show up in how they handle conflict. It will show up in how they handle money. It will show up in whether they can be consistent when life becomes normal. Angels say, if the younger partner is truly chosen for you, you will notice these signs becoming stronger with time. They don't only want you, they respect you. They don't only pursue you, they protect you. They don't only compliment you, they commit to you. They don't only talk about the future, they prepare for it. They don't only show up when they're excited, they show up when it's inconvenient. They don't collapse when you ask for clarity, they rise to it. They don't punish boundaries, they honor them. They don't keep you hidden, they keep you covered. And that last one matters. Covered means your dignity is safe. Your peace is safe. Your heart is handled with care. A person can say they love you, but a heaven-sent partner will show they honor you. Love without honor becomes a burden. Love with honor becomes a home. Now, angels say, this is also why the age difference won't be the real challenge if God is truly in it. The real challenge will be making sure both of you stay aligned in humility. Because humility is what keeps balance. Humility is what prevents the older partner from becoming controlling. Humility is what prevents the younger partner from becoming careless. Humility is what keeps communication open. Humility is what makes correction safe. Humility is what turns conflict into growth instead of damage. So if you want this union to remain healthy, heaven gives you a simple rule: lead with honor, not ego. Honor looks like listening before reacting. Honor looks like speaking gently even when you disagree. Honor looks like apologizing quickly when wrong. Honor looks like protecting each other's dignity in front of others. Honor looks like boundaries with outsiders who try to interfere. Honor looks like choosing peace over proving a point. Honor looks like building a future instead of entertaining feelings. Angels say this is how you protect the relationship from outside voices. You don't fight everyone. You've just become consistent, because consistency is loud. A stable relationship speaks without arguing. A peaceful marriage speaks without defending. Now, for those of you worried about judgment, here's the wisdom heaven wants you to adopt. You do not need to explain what God is still building. You don't owe everyone early access. You don't owe everyone an announcement. You don't owe everyone your private process. Some things are too sacred to be discussed, while they are still fragile. So let it grow in peace. Let it grow in prayer. Let it grow in privacy until it has roots. Then, when it's strong, it doesn't matter who questions it, because the relationship can stand. Angels say there is also a practical reason this is happening. God may be aligning timelines so your covenant happens in the right order. Some of you would have married the wrong person earlier if you had the chance, and that would have cost you years of peace. You thought the delay was punishment, but heaven says the delay was protection. Protection from someone who would have turned your life into emotional labor. Protection from someone who wanted benefits without responsibility. Protection from someone who was not prepared for covenant. Now you're entering a season where you can recognize what's real. You don't ignore red flags anymore. You don't romanticize inconsistency anymore. You don't confuse intensity with destiny anymore. You want peace, and heaven honors that by aligning you with someone whose character matures the season you're in now. That's why the younger partner might be chosen, because they meet you in your healed standards, not in your old survival habits. They meet you when you can finally receive love without begging. They meet you when you can finally build without settling. They meet you when you can finally choose with clarity. And this is important. Receiving love doesn't mean you stop being wise. it means you stop being afraid of being blessed. So here is what heaven wants you to do next. Not as pressure, but as protection. Move slowly enough to observe patterns. Communicate clearly about values, boundaries, and expectations. Require consistency, not just affection. Watch how they handle not yet. Watch how they handle correction. Watch how they handle responsibility. Pray for confirmation, then trust peace when it remains. And if you want a simple way to measure whether you're moving from fear or from discernment, angels give you this. Discernment feels calm and clear. Fear feels urgent and loud. Discernment asks wise questions and waits for fruit. Fear rushes to conclusions and tries to control outcomes. So when your mind starts racing, return to calm. Calm is where you hear God clearly. Now, let this prayer settle into your spirit, because it's a safe anchor when emotions rise. God, if this is chosen for me, let peace remain and fruit increase. Let clarity grow. Let respect stay steady. Let intentions be honorable. Keep me from fear-based decisions. Keep me from rushing. Keep me from settling. If this is not for me, remove it gently but clearly, and protect my heart from attachment that delays my destiny. Then watch what happens, because heaven always exposes what is not aligned. Counterfeits cannot handle time, boundaries, and truth. They eventually reveal impatience, inconsistency, secrecy, or excuses. But what is ordained becomes steadier. It becomes clearer. It becomes more respectful. It becomes more serious. And now, angels say something very personal for the one who is still afraid to believe. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. Your timeline is not a curse. Your story is not over. You are not being mocked by heaven. You are being prepared by heaven. And if heaven chose a younger partner for you, it is not to confuse you. It is to bless you with alignment, peace, and a future that feels stable in your bones. Receive this blessing over your heart and your future marriage. May God remove every counterfeit connection that drains your spirit. May God expose hidden motives without destroying your peace. May your discernment remain calm and sharp. May your boundaries stay strong without hardening your heart. May your future spouse be consistent, humble, responsible, and intentional. May your love be protected from gossip, jealousy, and sabotage. May your relationship grow in clarity, maturity, and mutual effort. May your home become a sanctuary. May your peace become normal. And may the fruit of your union silence every opinion that tried to scare you away from what God ordained. If this message brought clarity, subscribe now so you stay connected to the next word meant for your season. Like the video to help this reach someone who is praying quietly for confirmation. And if you feel led, comment Amen or I receive so your faith agrees with what heaven is building.